Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 27-year-old Maryland resident David Blair didn't enter the Capitol building. In fact, Blair arrived kind of late to the Capitol. He was there after the curfew had been imposed by the DC mayor, and he brought a lacrosse stick with him with a racist Confederate flag attached to the end. You know, the flag of the other losers. And Blair confronted officers as they were trying to clear out the last of the rioters off the Capitol lawn. And so the officers ordered Blair and the others to leave, but he refused. And then Blair was captured on body cam footage approaching a line of police officers and yelling, quote, "Hell nah, quit backing up. Don't be scared. We're Americans." So an officer pushed Blair, and then Blair yelled at the officer, "What's up, motherfucker? What's up, bitch?" And then he used his lacrosse stick to push against the officer's chest. Well, at that point, a few other officers jumped in and they knocked Blair to the ground, and then they started hitting him with their batons. So Blair's attorney said that he was left with a bloodied head. He had a concussion. He had to stay in the hospital for a few days. I mean, aren't they the ones that always say, fuck around and find out? And, you know, if he had just followed police's orders, this wouldn't have happened. Sounds like Blair is no angel. Where have we heard that a million times? So anyway, he was arrested on the spot, and they searched him, and they found that he was also carrying a knife with a serrated edge and a roll of duct tape. Although Blair said he was only carrying the knife because, quote, "I was scared of Antifa jumping me on the way back." And, you know, duct tape is always so helpful when you get jumped. So anyway, Blair was released that night, and then he was arrested again on February 17th of last year. He was charged with a whole litany of crimes, including assaulting officers using a dangerous weapon, civil disorder, obstructing an official proceeding, entering restricted grounds with a deadly or dangerous weapon, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, one of which included an increased penalty for having a deadly or dangerous weapon, 2 counts of physical violence, one of those also included an increased penalty for a deadly or dangerous weapon, as well as possession of a dangerous weapon on Capitol grounds. So at the end of March of this year, Blair pleaded guilty to the felony crime of civil disorder that comes with a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison, up to 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. The prosecutor, though, requested only 8 months behind bars. That was at the lower end of the sentencing guidelines, and then also 3 years of probation. In a pre-sentencing memo, Blair's attorney argued that he believed he had the right to be in that area of the Capitol and, quote, exercise his First Amendment right of free assembly. Blair's attorney also wrote, quote, "The brute force which led to provoking the defendant was not called for." In a sentencing brief submitted by the government, the prosecutor said that Blair told investigators that he had been communicating on social media with someone who repeatedly made anti-Semitic remarks and, quote, blamed Israel for the world's problems. So Blair told them that he believed that the U.S. was, quote, falling apart and that he had to, quote, stand up to communism. So at his sentencing hearing, Blair told the judge, though, that he wanted to protest the removal of Confederate statues because apparently his mother was related by marriage to a Confederate leader. So he said, quote, "I'm tired of our history being erased in this country." I just have to stop for a second on that one because these people crack me up, and not in a good way. They are the most hypocritical ass clowns on earth. They don't want statues taken down of racist, slave owning, repugnant Confederate leaders because that would be erasing history. But yet they have zero problem with Republicans ordering the removal of books and then the removal of certain words from history books, from school history books, like slavery. They want to replace that word. They cheer on that kind of shit. And why? Because then they can carry their bigoted Confederate flags around, right? Because then people won't know its history. If you erase that history, then you can get away with that kind of stuff. Yeah, we see you, racists. We know what you're about. Your ancestors were vile, terrified white losers. They lost, you lost. Get over it. Facts don't care about your feelings, remember? Anyway, U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper presided over this case, and he told Blair he believed he went to D.C., quote, primed for a fight. Judge Cooper also told him, quote, "I suspect you didn't go there to go on the lawn. I suspect you went there to go to the Capitol." So I was a bit nervous about this case because Cooper's been far too lenient, but in the end, he did sentence Blair to 5 months in jail, 18 months of probation, a $2,000 restitution fee, and a $500 special assessment. Look who found his ovaries. So more of this, please. You know, I mean, and it goes to show, again, as I've said before, if the prosecutor actually has these people plead to a real crime, not this parading BS that they always do, the judges can give them a real sentence. I mean, I would give him 6 months. I'd give him an extra month just for that ridiculous flag, but I'll take it. So anyway, guys, when I hear more about this great guy, I will let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.